It's time for Maggie and the Moms, sponsored by Tampa General Hospital. Welcome to Maggie and the Moms, where we celebrate but never sugarcoat parenting. On our panel today, we welcome back Margaret Zakarian, a mother of 3 who teams up with her husband, celebrity chef Jeffrey Zakarian, to share recipes for a good life and great food in their monthly newsletter, MZ and GZ at Home, which you can sign up for at jeffreyzakarian.com. Stephanie Rodriguez-Neely is a mother of 5. She connects local moms through the Tampa Bay Moms Group, which is a great resource for networking and learning about family events in our area. And Laura Byrne, a mother of 2, is the editor of Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine. Here's a look at the February issue. It's out now, so be sure to pick one up whenever you see one around town. Ladies, welcome. Always good to have you guys here.
Hi, Maggie.
Let's kick things off with the single mom from Chicago who is now facing a year in jail and up to a $1,000 fine because she left her 14-year-old daughter to babysit her 4 other children while she went off to work. Now, this is a single mom of 5. She says that the kids' nursery shut down during the pandemic, so she had nobody else to leave the kids with. And the reason that she got arrested is because a woman down the street called the police when one of the siblings, a 4-year-old, snuck out of the house and turned up on her doorstep, and the big sister hadn't noticed because she does virtual learning, so she was in the middle of a class. So there's a lot to this story, but the mom says she is fighting these charges because she didn't do anything wrong. Margaret, do you agree?
My gosh, this is like such a nightmare scenario for a mom. I mean, and I think that it really depends on the child and their age, right? So she could have a very capable, very mature 14-year-old that she felt totally fine leaving her children with. I mean, it sounds like there's a little more to the story, maybe with the neighbor, and you know, I don't think she's guilty. I have a hard time with this one.
Well, here's a mother of 5 on our panel. I'm sure you can empathize with this.
Yeah, it's leaving a kid alone with somebody. It's at any age. It's more about ability than the actual age. I know 16-year-olds that really shouldn't be left unsupervised. I know that my 13-year-old is perfectly capable of watching my 5-year-old. The issue is an accident happened, but as moms, we have accidents happen all the time.
Yes.
And maybe it's because I'm so involved in foster care, I see parents that have to leave their kids with an older sibling or have to leave their kids in a mall food court while they apply for a job. So what you're doing is we're penalizing this mom for an accident that could have happened to a babysitter that she hired that was 30 years old. We're penalizing her instead of trying to offer other ways to support her. And now you're talking about the trauma that she's gonna go through and the trauma her children are gonna go through, dealing with the court issue. If she happens to go to jail, the financial burden this is gonna create from the penalties. There's so much that goes into this. We need to give each other a little bit more grace in the legal system as well. I'm kind of embarrassed for that mom that called the cops. I would never do that to somebody. I would have been like, hey, let me sit with them until you get out of work.
Right. What do you think, Laura?
Well, it's just basically what the ladies have already said. I mean, first of all, I was wonder what that beef was with the neighbor, because sometimes, you know,
maybe there's more there.
In the past, there's more to the story, but also this could have happened to the mom when she was at home and just didn't realize what was going on. I mean, I was babysitting my sister who was a baby at 11 years old. You know, different time, different generation, and again, it depends on the age and maturity of the child, but I think they just killed the babysitting service for teenagers with that story. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
an accident. I mean, how many of us have been at a store and we take our eyes off a kid and they slip around to the other kid?
It happens in an instant. It really
Here's the thing. Like, I, of course, let my 16-year-old babysit my 11-year-old. Well, he would take issue with that word. I allow them to stay alone together for short periods of time because she is mature enough and responsible enough to handle it. But I wouldn't set her up for failure, and I think maybe this mom did, and I empathize with her, I do, but there was so much on that 14-year-old's plate. She had to watch 4 children while taking classes, a full day of classes.
But at the
That's
same
a lot to ask, and I really think that was too much to ask, but I wish that there was another child care option for her, because this clearly isn't the right one.
A reasonable response to that?
Absolutely not. Do I think she should go to jail? No. Do I wish she had another option so that she wouldn't put so much on that poor 14-year-old's plate? Yes, because that's not fair to the 14-year-old either.
And can you imagine the guilt of the 14-year-old? What she's going
through? If something would have happened.
Well, right. That you hear that.
But knowing that you slipped, your younger sibling went out, and now your mom's facing jail time for something you did.
It's not her fault. It's not the girl's
I think it also brings up an issue in our country. We have a big problem with supporting families and supporting young kids. we need to do better. We really do.
She
We need to be
should
knocking on
have
our lawmakers'
another
doors at all
option.
levels. And
Yeah, this was extenuating circumstances. An accident happened. At the end of the day, everyone's okay. It's a learning moment. I think leave well enough alone. Let this family try and have other resources. But jail time and a penalty is ridiculous.
I'm glad she's fighting it because she's right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Spinning the wheel for our first topic. And today, our first one is, what would you do? Okay, ladies, I'll give you a parenting scenario. Tell me what you would do. Laura, we'll start with you. Your boys come up to you, hey, Mom, I want to play tackle football or hockey or some other sport that you don't want them to play. You as a mom are opposed to your child playing that sport. What do? How do you steer them away, or don't you?
Thank goodness my kids aren't super sporty. But yeah, tackle football for me is a big no. Not going to happen. So I would probably steer in a different direction. Maybe flag football, something similar, or, so I was like, it's not going to fit with our schedule. So let's see what else you really enjoy. Maybe we'll look at another run club. So I say steer.
That's how you would steer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have this issue?
I am definitely a steer person. I let my kids kind of forge their own path with their interest. If the financial aspect and safety aspect isn't a factor for me, they can pick what they want. I would say no to tackle, but there's other options like flag. But yeah, I let them try everything and see what's going to stick. I do my best not to discourage them. My daughter's doing gymnastics, which was never something I was into, and she picked that and she loves it. My son's doing soccer, and so far he loves it. So yeah, absolutely let them kind of figure that out on their own.
Is George going to be playing tackle football?
No tackle football in our house. Golf, maybe.
No contact
Singular,
sports.
no contact tennis. Yes, I try not to say no in the moment, because I feel like that's when you get that reaction, and that's where they dig in and fight. So I say, oh, maybe let's think about it, and then steer with other activities. If my child is like continually over many months asking, then I'm like, okay, this is a real interest. Let me figure out how we can make it work.
And you can compromise, right?
Right. But if I'm paying and I'm driving, I mean, we're not doing
I know.
something
Yeah.
right to steer.
Mom's in the driver's seat
So
on this
I'm
one.
5'2", my husband is 5'8", so it's not a surprise that my son is not built like a linebacker. But there was a moment when he was playing flag football, which they graduate. The problem, Laura, with flag is they want to graduate to
the next
tackle.
step.
And so he did want to, but luckily, because he was also playing other sports at the same time, naturally, he wound up gravitating more towards baseball and basketball. So that, for me, is the point that I want to make. Don't allow your kids to specialize early, because that way they have access to all different sports, and you can kind of sort of steer, but maybe on their own, like my son did, they'll wind up finding the right one for them.
The pro sports players we've interviewed have highly recommended that. We're like, what is your advice for kids as we're raising our kids with sports? And they're always like, let them try a variety of things. Don't commit to something early on, and don't pressure them.
And so many parents do that because,
you
I was a baseball player, I want my kid to follow in my footsteps.
That's right.
Or I was a cheer coach, I want my kid, which I wanted my kid to cheer. But she never even tried it. She didn't want to.
And not only that, specializing in one sport, I interviewed a doctor actually for an article I wrote for Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine, who said that if you do that, that's how kids wind up with these overuse injuries that are so common, because they're playing strictly one sport year round, and that's dangerous. So many reasons to encourage them to try lots of things. All right, one more quick one. We have time for it, hopefully. Instamoms. All right, we're going to look at something that was posted by a mom on Instagram, one of the many that we love here on Maggie and the Moms. Let's read the first post and talk about what we see. Here we go. You can have a good day with your teen, or you can ask them to dress warm. You cannot have both. Mary, Fairy, Bowberry. All right, here's my question. What's one daily fight, quickly, that you have that you are like, oh, daily fight with my kid that I wish I could resolve? Margaret.
Mascara wearing. I mean, is it really necessary? No, I've given up.
You don't want them to?
No, it's not necessary, but I've just
I wish that was the only option.
I know.
That sounds
mascara. And
delightful.
I'm teen girls, they're getting rid of mascara. Like, you don't need mascara.
I wish my daughter quit using mine, but I could.
What's yours? Your daily struggle? I mean, name one.
Yeah, I have so many kids. My 13-year-old is chronically late. Like today, I got her up 30 minutes early, and we still ended up leaving 5 minutes late. But I mean, chronic lateness. My 3-year-old, if you give him the wrong color cup, it's like ruins his entire day. I just have too many. There's too many. How
do you guys deal with these things? Like the things that you have to tell your kids over and over? Doesn't it drive you crazy? And how do you deal with it?
I'm a screamer. I yell a lot. They're used to it. It doesn't even faze them anymore. I don't. It's the part of being Spanish and just part of being crazy. But I'm a screamer.
Okay, Laura.
Mine is just the water. I have spent a small fortune in water bottles, and every morning when we go to pack the book bag, I'm like, "Where's your water bottle?"
Jackets too.
And it's like, and the jackets. I just don't understand it. Like, I can put your name on it and it still disappears. I don't know where it goes. There's a black hole of water bottles where they all go to, I guess.
Mine
right?
are in there too, I think,
Yeah.
so if you find them.
There must be.
We're missing several hoodies at this point as well.
If my child, okay, I won't say which one, but if my child could just put their clothes, their dirty clothes inside the hamper one day.
But they throw them right around the hamper.
Even
probably.
if the hamper's right there, and the amount of mom rage that boils up inside me when I see those clothes on the floor is not normal. It can't just be, I figure it's not just about the clothes, it's about, does this kid not listen to me?
It's a disrespect. It's like you think I got to
1,000
clean up behind you and you
times?
can't do anything to make it a little easier on me. It's that like disrespect kind of thing that
Yes.
really triggers.
That's-
It's like
Yes.
you could
That's
take 2
exactly,
seconds to make my entire life easier and you choose not to.
Exactly.
I find
And-
PJs stuffed under couches when they're getting dressed in the morning. So, when you ask where the PJs are, just look under your couch.
So maybe there's nothing we can do except
At least they're getting
vent.
close to
Yeah.
the hamper.
I know. Yeah.
I'm glad we can vent here at the very least. Ladies, thank you so much. Great to have you
This is
here.
fun.
And we'll be right back.